What is he? Is he a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath? All of those things? None of them?
Wait until you hear what Jordan Peterson had to say about the one and only Donald Trump. We're going to analyze Peterson's assessment of Trump and what he thinks Trump's role should be in the 2024 election. You're not going to want to miss this.
What is he? Is he a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath? All of those things? None of them?
I don't think that he's a psychopath because he's been successful in repeated enterprises over long periods of time, and he has a variety of people who remain intensely loyal to him. Now, he's definitely extroverted to a very great degree, and he's definitely disagreeable. And so that gives him some of the traits that are associated with those personality features. But from what I've been able to understand, he's also very conscientious and hardworking, for example. And so that's a real mitigating factor. And so I think it's very easy to demonize someone that you don't approve of, let's say, and certainly Trump has been subject, I would say, to more demonization than any political leader in the West that I can remember in my entire lifetime, including Richard Nixon. And so that's also set him back on his heels and made him somewhat embattled and defensive, which I don't think did any great things for his personality in some real sense. So I think it's a mistake to assume that Trump is a psychopath. I think it's a big mistake. I think it's a big mistake to assume that Putin is a psychopath. It's easy to do that, but I don't think the evidence suggests that. You don't want to throw those labels around casually. And, you know, if Trump was psychopathic, well, he did a pretty good job of keeping the United States clear of war for 4 years. That's pretty damn remarkable. And he did have a big hand in promoting the Abraham Peace Accords, and that was pretty remarkable. And those aren't the sorts of things that you would expect.
So there's Peterson's assessment of Trump's personality. Obviously, Piers Morgan led the witness a bit here with his opening question. What is he, a narcissist, a sociopath, a psychopath? Which one? When did he stop beating his wife? You know, all that sort of stuff. But Peterson didn't fall for it. He pointed out that whether the Never-Trumpers like it or not, Trump is a person who thinks very, very big, right? Very bigly, right? Scott Adams has been talking about this ever since Trump was first elected back in 2016. You might remember he talked about what he called the golden age emerging all around us. And what he meant by that, this golden age, is that things we never thought possible because of the limitations of our culturally conditioned perceptions of the world, things we never thought possible actually started to happen all around us with Trump. We never thought peace with North Korea was possible. And then lo and behold, we had the first ever summit between the president of the United States and the North Korean leader. I mean, you even had Trump actually meeting Kim Jong-un in North Korea. We never thought manufacturing and industrial jobs would ever return to the United States after being shipped away to the global south. Suddenly, the manufacturing sector had the lowest unemployment rate ever recorded in our history. And of course, going all the way to the beginning, our political pundits said Donald Trump would never, ever in a million years, in no conceivable possible way, ever become elected president. No wars during his tenure, the Abrahamic Peace Accords. I mean, we could go on and on. These things don't happen with narcissistic sociopaths or psychopaths. These happen only with a highly conscientious, hardworking, tough, undaunted, focused personality, and that's precisely what Trump is.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you sound like you're a bit of a fan of Donald Trump. Would you like him to run again? Would it be good for America, do you think?
No, I don't think it would be good for America. Would it be good for him to run? That's a difficult question, because it might be that it would be good for America to have whether or not Donald Trump should be president sorted out in the public sphere, debated intensely, and subject to an election. So it might be very interesting to see him put himself forward on the Republican ticket. If I had my druthers, and I say this, I hope with due care, I would rather see someone like DeSantis step forward, who shares some of that forthright strength, let's say, that characterizes Trump at his best, but seems to be a more cautious administrator and a less divisive figure. I think that would be better, because Trump for whatever virtues he might have. And I think he has the virtues of a Washington outsider. I think that's quite clear. I think that his behavior in the political realm raises the political temperature to a dangerous degree.
Yeah.
And, I say that while trying to give the devil his due and not casting careless aspersions on his name.
my, I just think about how different Piers is reacting here in this interview with Peterson than when he interviewed Andrew Tate a few weeks back, where he just kept interrupting and interjecting and talking over him. Here, at least, Morgan exemplified a clearly respectful silence. Now, I'll go in reverse order here. I fundamentally disagree with Peterson on Trump's temperament and behavior raising the political temperature to dangerous levels. I think that temperature has already been raised, right? This is the flaw with the notion that running someone else is somehow going to lower the political temperature. I'm surprised at Peterson here because, think about it. How did his respectful demeanor ever lower the temperature when he was confronted by rabid woke activists? I mean, triggered activists will always raise the temperature. What makes Trump so formidable is that he's not in the least intimidated by that. Now, circling back Psaki to the beginning of his answer there, you'll notice Peterson backed off his original, no, it wouldn't be good for America. He had to think about that a bit because I think he realized this remains an unresolved issue. As we found out the hard way last Tuesday with the midterms, 2020 changed elections in the United States. It introduced a whole new vertical, in this case, of ballots alongside votes. Republicans have mastered getting the votes, but Democrats have mastered getting the ballots. And 2024 is looking more and more to be a showdown between Trump and Biden, a rematch, but this time with the Republican Party prepared to beat the Democrats at their own ballot game. So that is a very important election to be had. Now, Peterson brought up the possibility of a DeSantis run because he's just as MAGA as Trump, but doesn't have the polarizing temperament, and he did so well in the election. The problem with DeSantis, first and foremost, whether we like it or not, Trump will crush him in the primaries. Trump is the Godzilla of politics. He'll suck all the oxygen out of the primaries, out of the primary elections. But even more importantly, we don't know if DeSantis could bring out the rural vote, which is essential. He certainly has been successful in flipping the Latino vote, particularly Cubans and Puerto Ricans. He's been very successful in getting them to defect from the Democrats and vote Republican. But we don't know if DeSantis can bring out the rural vote in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Iowa, and Pennsylvania, and Ohio. We don't know that with DeSantis, whereas we absolutely do know that about Trump. He can do that. He's done it twice, 2016, 2020. He did it by holding rallies in counties throughout Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania that had never had a presidential candidate visit them ever in their history. That was the biggest get out the vote campaign ever for rural America. So obviously, the way to resolve this is a Trump-DeSantis ticket. That way, DeSantis could help flip the suburbs and the Latino vote, while Trump brings out the rural vote. That, to me, is the secret sauce, together with our own ballot harvesting strategy to counteract Democrat early voting advantages. Never again with that. But there you go. All in all, I think that was a very good assessment about Trump. Peterson recognized that Trump is an extraordinary achiever. He's a visionary. He is highly conscientious, and Peterson recognizes his allure as an outsider, a political outsider that's there to disrupt the system. But I do think he misinterprets the current American political context. I think he's putting too much of the blame on Trump's temperament for our heightened political temperature, which I think is actually more the consequence of insane woke activism than anything else. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and you will definitely want to check out my latest video on Jordan Peterson, again, leaving Piers Morgan speechless on Vladimir Putin. You're not going to want to miss that, so make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.